Welcome to the Poundcast. Once again, we have a great show with Tommy Siegel. He is a musician and an artist, and he made this cool book.
I hope this helps is the
I
name of
hope
the
this
book.
helps. It does help because this book will help. I guarantee. Now, you guys have been listening to the Poundcast for decades, and you love our show, and you can't get enough. So if you want more, you want to listen to like extended episodes, which we have today, you just got to go to patreon.com/poundcast and subscribe to that.
That easy.
Be our patron is starting at $2 a month. And that's quite a value for the amount of entertainment we've been giving you, and we give you every week after week. So that's one way to support us. Another way to support us is to buy some Louisville vegan jerky or chocolates or toppings from LouisvilleVeganFoods.com. Louisville Vegan Foods is our sponsor this week. And if you go to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com and use the code word Poundcast, you will get how many percent off, Brent?
20% off.
20% off. If I had 20% off my body, you know what would be missing, Brent?
You mean
my feet?
Oh, okay. I was thinking of something else.
Oh, what were you thinking about?
Yeah.
Look, you can buy Louisville Vegan Foods. You can buy Louisville Vegan Jerky, which is the best jerky, vegan or non-vegan, that you're ever going to find. Believe me, it's the best you've ever tasted. And you can get it at Sprouts or Whole Foods, or I think Target has it. I always say that every week. I think Target has it. But it doesn't matter, because why don't you just go to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com? Don't go to some dumb store. Put on your stupid mask. Just stay home in the comfort of your home.
You put on your stupid mask with your nose sticking out of it,
Yeah, your big nose hanging off the top.
It's like
You don't have to deal with any of that. Okay?
You don't have to deal with any noses hanging out. Just
yeah.
And this stuff is handbagged in the United States of America, and it has a shelf life of 9 months.
There's a lot of great things about it. So the best thing about it is that you help support our show by patronizing, supporting them. And
they support us. So then if you support them,
us,
we're all scratching each other's backs over here.
See how this works?
We're scratching each other's backs.
Yeah. All right, Brent. We have speaking of Patreon, or do you have any other announcements off top?
Well, I mean, look, I just wanted to make this announcement, sort of. The way that video is released for the show now is on Patreon. For the certain tier and up, you get on the same day as the audio that's released, which is you get early access to, which is on Wednesday. You also on the same day will be released the full video, including the After Dark. And that's all released on Wednesday. And then on Friday for regular, if you want to watch video of the main episode, we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/thepoundcast. And you can watch video versions of Poundcast. So that's something to know about, is that.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
And but that's, it's
do you have anything else to announce before I talk about the remix, which we're about to drop?
I mean, if you guys want to, I've been doing this Twitch thing lately. If you want to check that out, it's Brent Weinbach Games every Saturday around 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll play a game, whatever. If you want to check that out, whatever. No big whoop, you know what I mean? You can also watch the broadcast not live,
I have Ask to Dad shirts still available. I still got some merch left at dougpound.bigcartel.com. I believe that's the merch site. I also have my own Patreon page, patreon.com/dougpound. And
There's also a
the other day I posted some videos I made in 2008 critiquing Tim and Eric season 3 promo submissions. So check that out if you're
and
interested.
then also you kind of lost that one.
Legacy Music Hour, your other show, maybe?
No, I wasn't even trying to say that. I was just gonna say that I can't do it. I don't remember.
Oh, well, look, here's the deal. Our patrons also get access to the stems of the new theme song and the old theme song, and they've been remixing it and making tons of really cool remixes of our theme songs. And Brent, who do we have this week? Who's remixing what this week?
Essential Forever is the name of this entity or artist. Essential Forever did this remix, and I'm pretty sure this one was a remix of the new theme song that was debuted on the on a recent episode.
Oh, cool. Well, you know what's essential forever is the Poundcast. So let's roll the clip, and then we'll get it on with Tommy Siegel.
Please do.
Let's roll the clip. Okay, we are here with Tommy Siegel. Siegel.
Siegel. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I happen to have your book right here. Look at this, huh?
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at that.
My debut baby book.
You do many things. You make books, you make cartoons. You're in a band because I see looks like you're in a band space.
Yeah, I've got a band I've been with for like disturbingly it's somehow been 17 years.
Wow.
Called Jukebox the Ghost. It's like a piano pop band. We're kind of a Queen sort of a vibe.
Queen?
Yeah.
Do you do the vocals?
Me and the other guy kind of trade off. So he kind of has the more Freddie vibe. I'm kind of like the I don't know how you call it. We've got sort of a Lennon McCartney thing going on where except not that good. But where we both have kind of a different thing and we switch off from song to song.
How many albums do you have out?
We're working on album, I think it's just 6 or 7. 6. I think it's 6.
Now, the last time we talked was on Office Hours, and must have been over a year ago.
Yeah.
And what have you been doing since then, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, since
catch us up real quick,
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. When I came on Office Hours, actually, which by the way, I kind of felt bad in hindsight because I got coffee with Vic like the day before, and he was like, I mentioned that I was like, oh, I've been loving Office Hours. I just started listening to it, and he was like, why don't you come on tomorrow? And so I felt I kind of hadn't done my homework, and it's like post that I have since gotten into the entirety of the Weinbach and DJ Doug Pound extended cinematic universe, and become a fan of the Poundcast. But at that time, I wasn't in the cinematic universe yet.
Hey, look, at least you did your homework for this episode. So now this is going to be the one,
This is the one. But so, yeah, anyways, around then I just was doing this sort of crazy daily comics challenge around that time. And I was right at the end. I did a comic a day for 500 days. And that finished up that summer about a year and a half ago. And since then, had my debut book that came out. I've got actually another book that's coming out in a month.
Oh, that's the new book?
I've got this is my only copy so far, but it's Candy Hearts. So I do these comics that involve like those kind of chalky conversation hearts, but using the text on them as like sort of the gag setup for showing like people's internal monologues in relationships. So that's dropping for Valentine's Day. And I mean, I've been COVID hit and obviously stopped touring, which was kind of like that was what I did most of the year before that. So
by COVID hit, do you mean you got it?
No, I just mean it just sort of we had a tour that was we had a tour that was supposed to start in like late March into May or something. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, my sister was running a COVID unit up in Boston, so she like was separated from her kids. So I went and I was helping take care of my niece and nephew for like 3 months, and basically ever since then I've kind of been living out of a suitcase. But it's like a good time to be living out of a suitcase. So
I take it you don't have kids of your own.
I do not.
So was that kind of that was a new experience, I guess, kind of being like a parent for a few months, huh?
Yeah, I was like part-time uncle dad. It was really cool. I mean, I feel like it was like a lucky timing in a way, because it like I think took me out of the kind of like career navel gazing that I think a lot of people had to do, like where you're kind of really worried about where things were going personally, and instead I was just like day to day, like drawing with chalk, and potty training and that kind of stuff, which just was kind of a good distraction from the 2020 reality, I think.
Did it make you want to have kids, or did it make you want to kind of hold off for a while?
No, I thought it was great. Yeah.
Okay. So
how many kids does your sister have?
Just 2. Yeah.
And how many sisters do you have?
Just 1.
Okay.
How many brothers do you have?
Well, because you kind of like a more handsome version of me, and I have my sister with 2 kids, but then I have another sister with 2 other kids, so it's not quite the exact thing, I guess.
Well, I disagree with your premise, but I respect the trying to find common ground. But I mean, having nieces and nephews is the coolest, because you can kind of like step in for all the fun stuff, and then when it gets bad, you're just like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and step away.
Yeah, being an uncle is kind of the way to go.
Yeah.
And Brent, you got to be an uncle. You got to get one of these. You have 3 siblings. I mean, get them on this. Get them fertilizing someone.
Yeah, I am going to be an uncle.
You are?
Yeah, Nikki's pregnant.
Oh.
My brother Nikki's pregnant. Immaculate conception. He was listening to the Immaculate Collection by Madonna, and somehow he got pregnant from that.
That's all it takes sometimes. Yeah. So when you say you're living out of a suitcase, how does that work? Are you traveling around between where?
Well, so I was living in New York, and then moved down to Virginia to help with my niece and nephew, and then just sort of didn't make sense to keep paying rent in New York. So moved out, and then ever since then, it's just been like, I don't know, I up in New York for a month or 2 for recording stuff here and there, and had a little like quarantine pod in the woods with some friends like over the summer, just like up in Maine, just as like a nice place to be in the woods and go hiking and, not be in the middle of stuff.
Where do you stay in New York?
Just currently in an Airbnb, like in Windsor Terrace. If you know Windsor Terrace, it's like south of Park Slope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
How are you guys hanging in there? Like the LA seems rough right now. I keep seeing the numbers, but maybe it's still the same as ever.
Yeah, they're saying
Well,
the numbers are up there. They're saying I still don't know anyone with COVID.
I've
Um,
been knowing more and more people with it. I
oh,
keep
really?
on, yeah, people, but I mean, me personally, I'm really careful. I don't see anybody. I just
I guess
stay
I
in.
do know. I do know a couple people, yeah, that have had it, and it seemed to be, they didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. Sort of like kind of sick for a few days or something. But yeah, I did the same thing over the summer or early on. I was camping a lot and just getting out of town. And but yeah, nowadays it's sort of like it's too cold. It's been kind of cold here. Now I'm just like waiting for this. Now I'm really like I just want January to be over with. And I don't know, it's just a weird time. And I'm soaking it all in. The the
Yeah.
insurrection happened last week. This kind of entertaining. We kind of just look at it that way as entertainment. This is something that's never happened before.
Yeah, it's been yeah, what a weird week that was. Just to sort of feel like the USA was on the brink of a total total insurrection and collapse, and then to like 5 days later just be gaslit by people who are like, well, how is that different than Black Lives Matter protesters? And you're like, I don't even
I
know
know.
where to
It's
begin.
just exhausting.
Yeah.
And yeah. So when you were doing that challenge of doing a cartoon every day, how long did you do that for?
It was 500 days.
Oh shoot!
Which I'm glad I did because a lot of opportunities came out of it. But if anyone was asking, like, I've had people be like, should I do it? I'm like, absolutely not. It's like not good to not take breaks. Like, I definitely like needed time, a lot of time to recover from that, even though it was like a
Was it
really
a
fun in a lot of ways too.
was it a self-imposed challenge?
Yeah, because there was another cartoonist who I really love, this guy Branson Reese, who I had seen him do a 365-day challenge, and I was kind of like watching as he was doing it, and I was surprised that I figured there would be diminishing returns at some point, but I kept being surprised, like, oh no, his comics just keep getting better. And so I had drawn casually my whole life, but not in any serious capacity. And I kind of like, I don't know, I had this experience of submitting to the New Yorker a couple times and then kind of looking at the cartoons again and being like, these aren't that good. Like, I should probably try and take this seriously. And so the challenge was like an attempt to kind of like see if I turn on the faucet, like if I could get stuff to come out.
But
So that
yeah,
challenge, that challenge was really where you kind of got started as a cartoonist.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like before that, I mean, I talk about it in the book a bit, but sort of casually, like when my band was on tour, I would do like as a social media shtick, I would do like drawings by request for fans of the band on social media, so that they'd be like, draw the band as Lego figures or stuff like that, and then I would draw it, tweet it back at them, and it kind of became like a fun like tour thing and like a back and forth that kind of worked on social media when music usually is swimming upstream. So that was kind of like where I started drawing more regularly, but I wasn't drawing any ideas of my own. I was just like taking requests, and it was all just with a Sharpie in a notebook. So like, yeah, the daily challenge was the first time I like took it seriously, had supplies, learned digital illustration, all that kind of stuff.
was it? Did you? If you couldn't think of some, I mean, yeah, what would you do when you couldn't think of something for the day? And did you just let it come out and not even think about it sometimes, or what?
Yeah, sometimes it would be kind of bad, like, but I would always make sure I had a backlog of ideas, even if they were mediocre,
Uh-huh.
just so that if I was really drawing a blank, that I had something to go to be like, well, this is at least like, you know, something. Or it would even be as basic as like, let's say there was a day I really didn't have an idea. I would just be like, I'm going to do something about oysters, and then draw an oyster and then try and think of something.
Did you,
Funny.
out of the 500, how many of those do you feel quite proud of?
I would say they're like so
500.
the book. Yeah, for all 500. No, it's funny. That reminds me. I remember I talked to a friend in New York like years ago at a dinner thing, a musician, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing a song every day, this year," and I was like, "Wow," and I was like, "Do you like how are they turning out? Like, do you like them all?" And he was like, "I love them all." Which I always thought was amazing. I would say that about a fifth of them or a third of them, maybe. Like I look back and I'm like, that's good, you know.
Uh, okay, how many of them do you think, and then not the rest of them you think are not good, but is it just go like a third are good, a third you feel are okay, and a third you feel are
Yeah, I mean,
it.
there's a third that I look back on and I'm like,
I mean, I'm sure the audience thinks that all 500 are good, you know, but
yeah, I mean, the
for
weird thing about
yourself.
I mean, like, I'm sure you guys experience this and all the stuff you guys put out too on the internet, but the weird thing is like when you don't think something's that good and then you get contradictory, like people love it, or like you do something you think is really good and nobody seems to react to it at all. It's really interesting to have like the internet is like a a real-time focus group for all of your creations. It's like both amazing and terrifying.
Yeah, I've definitely said that before on here several times. It's weird what hits, you know.
Yeah, and also weird to like, I think part of it that um I'm still trying to like divorce myself from is like having done the project on the confines of social media and the built-in algorithms and what they incentivize. Um, it made it so I started to question at one point, like I was like, am I doing this one because I think it's funny or because the algorithm I know the algorithm will like it? Do you know? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah,
It's a
I
weird
know.
tug of war there.
I
you
know.
started to learn.
Do
Okay,
you
go
do you
ahead.
do like because I never do hashtags, but I think they probably help somehow
I don't use them either.
get people to see it, but for some reason I just don't want to do that. I want it to be more natural than hacking it in that kind of way, or that I just feel like corny doing all these hashtags below a thing.
Yeah,
Unless it was,
100%.
if I was someone who was doing, say, if I had a certain car or something, and then I was trying to share it with communities of people that were sharing information, then I think hashtags are really important. But as far as like doing a video and saying hashtag comedy, hashtag funny, hashtag weird, then like
Well,
it's sort of like dorky, right? Right, Brent?
yeah, and it's like who is the person that's checking hashtag funny? It's probably not someone that you really are targeting. Like I don't know
I wonder
what
if
that
people do
person's
do.
like.
I mean, so have you guys never gone on a site and did a hashtag just to see what people are talking about with regards to a topic?
I think I have before, just when it was like more of a news thing where it's like,
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah, then they seem to work. But I mean, maybe if you do a hashtag and you go into the discovery page, maybe you'll pop up there if people are looking at a lot of similar things. I don't
I
know.
have no idea. I mean, I've
Maybe I
never
should
used
start
it.
maybe I should start hashtagging
Nah, don't
every
even
video.
do that.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, like it's like the people who do check hashtag funny. You might that might not be useful
So if it's like
you
really
audience, but
general, like if it's really general, it's kind of pointless because, I mean, if you did hashtag comedy, it's like, how are you going to get seen more than, I mean,
yeah,
it's too broad, right? So it's got to be specific. Maybe the hashtags have to be really specific,
like
you
hashtag
know?
grocery wraps. Like you want those people who want
Exactly.
grocery wraps. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. There you
Now,
go. Yeah.
so how did you go from the Valentine's hearts to like these characters that are featured in this book?
Well, it's funny that they all came in tandem. So, like during the 500-day project, I was just throwing darts at the wall to see what would stick. So every day was something different. So the hearts were at the same time. as all this other stuff. But yeah, the hearts kind of came later on. I was like trying to manifest, like, I felt like I was kind of starting from scratch every single day because I was like, I didn't have like a cast of characters or anything. It was like almost like doing like a Far Side or something where it's just whatever. And then around Valentine's Day a couple of years ago, I did like a cartoon with a couple of hearts in a movie theater, and realized it just had that moment where I was like, oh, this is like a format. Like I can keep doing this. And I hadn't had that moment before. So it was, then I started sprinkling in the candy hearts more regularly. But yeah, now it's a weird thing, because like I feel like my audience has come from different interest sets. So it's like
some of them are like hashtag comedy people. Some of them are hashtag funny,
candy,
and they're
hashtag candy.
Yeah,
and
hashtag
there is
relatable.
a difference between hashtag funny and hashtag comedy.
and
Very
Hashtag
weird.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it is kind of interesting to see, like, I don't know. I feel like my followers are at war with each other over like what they want me to be making. Some people really love the candy hearts, and some people are like, I only want political Antifa cartoons. And then some people like, I had this whole series of like the Pringle Man in the nude as like a, as like a nude model, and there were a lot of people who really like that. So they're all kind of at internet war with each other, I think.
So, do you have a lot of experience with relationships that you have a lot of insight? I like the candy heart. I am a fan of the. I mean, I like them all. I mean, I do like. I mean, here's one on the back here. It says, "We will not mess you up like our parents messed us up," and then the baby says, "A whole new kind of messed up." So how do you? I mean, say you're in the middle of the 500-day thing, and first of all, do you ever do like 2 in a day? It's like, I got to do something tomorrow, or did you do literally one a day?
I would at least at minimum be like putting finishing touches, or like I would be finishing it the night before. Essentially, I usually try to have it like. And if I was really behind, then it would be the next day and me scrambling. But
and then
it was like,
yeah. I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but I guess, how do you find? You just force yourself to do it. That's what the bottom line, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now it seems crazy. Like now I couldn't do it now. Like
Even with all this free time during the quarantine.
Actually, that's true. This would have been a better year for it than when I did it. You raise a
you did this not during the. Yeah, that's crazy.
You're like touring and stuff, and in a band and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. What's weird about touring is it's like, you guys have done touring before. It's a lot of like, if you're not driving yourself, it's a lot of sitting in a car. It's like, or a van or a bus. It's like, you're sort of like a trucker. Like most of your day is just on the highway. And so like there weirdly is a lot of idle time to do something else. And it's like time that I think I noticed that I was just starting to be like, it was kind of useless time. It was like, there was just enough distraction that I wouldn't like read a book. Or, I would just end up like half scrolling my phone and having a half conversation with somebody, and drawing kind of like filled that time. And it was kind of interesting to realize like how much time I did have that I hadn't noticed was there.
Would you say most of your idle time on tour was like at red lights?
Most of my idling time, for sure.
Idling time.
Is that a joke of yours or something? Or?
No, I just made that up. It was
pretty good, Doug. Pretty good.
All right. Anyway, so you got any plan? Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
I got no plans. I mean, you were asking me if I had like relationship advice. I think what's funny about it is like I'm totally unqualified to be giving relationship advice, and I think that's maybe why maybe part of why it works is because I feel like I'm like, thinking about it, like from the perspective of someone who hasn't found it yet, So I actually, even in the book, like I have like the what do you call it? The prologue is just basically saying like, I don't know anything. These are cartoons. Like, please don't take it too seriously. And I'll continue talking to my therapist,
Do you want one?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you looking for? How can we help? How can we?
Yeah, how can we help you?
What can we do? What we can do to find you something
Let's see.
or someone?
Yeah. Looking for someone who's a whole new kind of fucked up, like the little baby heart,
Okay.
No, I
Well,
appreciate
that'll
that.
make it
I
interesting.
didn't realize,
You know?
I didn't realize you were going to be my yentas for this
We'll get
podcast.
on the case. We're on it after this episode. We'll start making some calls.
Yeah, I think we can make this happen, Brent. We'll find someone for you. We gotta find someone for Brent too, though.
Yeah.
So you're in Brooklyn right now.
In Brooklyn right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a social life there, or do you have what's that like these days?
It's like I find that I enjoy going. I don't know if you guys are like this too, but it's like there's still people doing the bar thing and outdoor dining and stuff, even though it's like 0 degrees. For me, there's just like it's like just not that enjoyable. So I like hiking with friends, like going to the park or like getting out of town and going on a hike or something. But yeah, the sort of like sitting in the cold thing is like it's not super ideal. And like I had a bar hang like 2 nights ago with like some friends I hadn't seen in a while, and that was like kind of a learning experience because it was nice to see them, but then like literally the next day one of them texted and was like, hey, I was exposed to COVID at work 2 days ago, but I didn't know it, like you guys should get tested. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm definitely not doing any more bar hangs until this
Were you at like a tiki bar and you all had like we had like 8 straws going into one big scorpion drink?
Yeah, we were bobbing for apples actually.
What if like bobbing for apples and like once everyone's like vaccinated and this is over, what if people like go crazy with like super spready kind of like activities, They all just everyone just starts like licking each other and hugging each other and kissing each other, and even boys and girls, they're all like kissing each other on the cheek, and the double kiss comes back.
They start touching each other in places that they normally don't touch, they're tickling each other. Like when you meet somebody, you give them a tickle. Like, oh, hey, Doug. And I tickle you like in your armpits.
You go to an ice cream place and like, you pay for the ice cream and then they just let you lick off a giant cone that everybody licks off of.
Yeah. And like also if you want it to go, they just grab it with their hand and give it to you. It's
right. It's
not even about germs anymore. It's even just about like people don't even care about stickiness or grease and stuff. They just, oh, you want some ice cream? Oh yeah. What flavor? Chocolate chip? Here you go. And they drop it up. They just drop it. They drop it in your mouth. You just, okay, open up, and they drop it.
Or you get like one cone with like 3 people and each person has their flavor and they got to come in the middle and, lick the one where their flavor is.
Yeah. No, it's like they put it on the rotisserie. There's like a cone rotisserie and it spins and then each person lines up and they put their tongue on it and then it spins on it. I don't know.
I'm picturing like one of those giant halal things, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Except in it being hot, it's like cold. There's like a little blue ice thing instead of
there's
like
some
hot.
kind of ice thing. Yeah, exactly.
Every time it goes around, it melts a little bit, but then it freezes back up when it passes the super cold, like Star Wars freezing rod,
Refreezes the saliva. Yeah. From the
I will say
person.
this is something that is kind of interesting though, I think, is that, I usually get, I don't know, a handful of colds in the year, right? Well, in 2020, I didn't get sick once. I didn't get a single cold or anything, right? And that's because I was, not having interaction with people for the most part. And when people do start interacting, I wonder if there is going to be a big uptick in common colds, and that sort of thing. So once COVID-19 is sort of under control and maybe kind of over, I wonder about other smaller kind of sicknesses like that I wonder that's going to be a major, once people start sharing germs again or being close to each other or, licking each other's armpits and stuff as they, will start to do because of the new way, the overcompensation. I wonder if there's going to still be a lot of sickness for that stuff, like smaller stuff,
No, I think colds, the common cold will be extinct. It's right now it's dying off. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought, is that the common cold is going extinct. Oh, that's
because COVID-19 spreads much easier than the common cold. So, when people aren't, the minimum amount of social distancing and quarantining people are doing, killing that cold. So it's going to be a new world when the pandemic ends. People are going to wear these shirts with no armpit. And they're gonna they're gonna go pit to pit, and they're gonna suction the pits together. And they're gonna pop them.
That's gonna be the new
popping
handshake.
pits with their friends.
I was waiting for you to say popping pits. It felt like where that was headed.
Actually, yeah, that's a funny idea.
Instead of instead of fist bump, that's like an insult. It's like
right. It's like,
come
you
on,
want to touch me? Come on, get in there.
Get in my pit.
Instead of a fist pump, it's going to be a pit pump. It's going to be a pit pop.
Pit pop, yeah.
Pit pop instead of a fit. Hey man, come on, let me get a pit pop. Come on, high one or whatever.
Yeah, you connect them, and then you connect your hands up here, and you kind of bring them together.
And you kind of do this yes can kind of pose with your arm and fists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a strong thing.
I think it's everyone. You'd want everyone to shave their pits so you could get that extra suction, though.
That extra pop. You get that extra.
You need that pop. Yeah, you need that
make
pop.
It pop. Make that pit pop.
Have you ever?
I was thinking about the cold thing though. Like what? I don't know. I like the idea of eradicating the cold. That's ideal. But what if it's just a rebrand or something where like Spider-Man, where it's they make a bunch of movies and they chill out for 5 years, and then when it's back, it's just different. So maybe the new cold, because it'll just be like cold 2.0. It's going to be a different vibe.
It'll be worse.
It's just a rebrand. We don't know if it's going to be better or worse. It's full
right.
rebrand.
We don't know what
I'm trying to think positive here, and there's no cold 2.0.
But no,
maybe people get a cold and it's I don't care. It's not going to kill me.
Maybe the new cold isn't going to be a sore throat or, a runny nose or something like that. But maybe the 2.0 version will be, you get hard hands for, a couple of days or something like that. You know what I mean?
That seems like something you get from pit popping though.
That's true. Yeah. If you're pit popping too much, you get the hard hand. Maybe you just get what if there was a bunch of armpit infections that started happening because everyone's doing, pit popping? So people just start contracting stuff in their armpit and stuff all the time. One armpit.
A PTD. It's like a pit transmitted disease.
A pit transmitted disease.
Pit peas. Like herpes, but pit peas.
Pit peas. Yeah, I could see that. People getting rashes on their armpits from doing that? Definitely.
Definitely. It's going to happen.
And you know what? When diseases start spreading from your armpits, they're probably going to start bringing back the taking your temperature through your armpit more often,
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I never got a temperature taken through my armpit.
Definitely. That's definitely that's the third method. That's the third most common method besides mouth and anus. It's true.
Well,
when
the pandemic lifts, pit popping, that's going to be casual friends. Maybe people you just met. For tight homies, it's going to be butt popping.
I thought you were going to say just taint popping. So it's taint it could be butt, but it's underneath the body popping.
You kind of have to you stand like this and then you cross, you kind of
Well, you got to get on your hands kind of, and then you guys got to like you got to get on your hands, thrust your legs up into the air at the same time so that the two creases of your legs can just collide at the same moment. Get it there, get a good suck, suction,
Yeah.
and then you pop off.
That's
And
got to
then-
be shaved too. You
Yeah,
gotta
you gotta-
basically you crab walk towards each other, and men will be wearing like kilts and then no underwear, of course.
And everyone's arms are going to be strong.
This is like
Yeah.
the best vision of the future I've heard since.
Yeah, I mean, we have a
Trek.
lot. We have a lot to look forward to when this.
The kilt business is going to just skyrocket. I mean, we should start investing in kilts now. We should
Yeah,
create
it's a good idea.
Poundcast kilts. Get your Poundcast kilt. Get them before they become the next big thing.
Yeah, kilts are gonna
Get your
be
kilt.
kilts are gonna be like the Bitcoin of tomorrow.
All right,
You
all right.
Get in now.
That kilt is popping. You guys about to pop off?
Yeah. What is
Yeah.
it called when you crotch pop? Is that what it's called? A crotch pop? Crotch kiss.
Yeah.
You want to do your best crotch kissing? Get the Poundcast kilt. You won't regret it. You'll
I think it'd be hard to
popping
get the pit pop. It's easy to imagine how you get the popping noise through the air suction. It's hard to imagine how the pop happens through the kilt pop, but
Yeah, maybe there's no
Well, it's
pop.
going to be harder for men. It's going to be harder for men than it is for women. For women, it's going to be a little easier, but I think it could work.
yeah.
Maybe it'll be more of a slap for the. It's a slap. You slap it together. I don't know.
Have you ever actually bobbed for apples, either of you?
Have you ever
No.
actually scissored anybody? Just kidding.
Because I think
No, is anybody? Have you?
I
Bob
don't
for
think
apples?
so. I think
Ew,
maybe
no.
maybe like when I was real young, I might have, but I don't think I did. It's such an
think I
old timey. It's such an old timey, like
No.
thing,
I do remember it from a party once that as a kid. I do seem to recall a bobbing for apple. I definitely recall a pinning the tail on the donkey. Not a real donkey, but I do recall a pinning a tail.
I've done pin the tail. That's fun. You spin them around. It's like a less lethal pinata because it involves fucking them up with making them dizzy. Isn't that funny? Like you make a kid like all kind of, you make them dizzy. It kind of makes them. What's that called? Like
An apple. juice
inebriate. You like
game.
inebriate them.
Yeah.
Then you give them a weapon.
It's dangerous. It's definitely kind of
dangerous.
weird, actually. They're wielding this, wooden rod around, and they're all out of sorts.
They're
Better
out of
watch
sorts.
out. You better watch out.
They're out of sorts. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember we used to do the egg race where you put an egg on a spoon or something. You ever done that one? Or no, there's an egg toss. Have you done the egg toss at least?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I don't think
I
I've done.
can't remember if I've done it. I think
Tommy, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Virginia.
That seems like an egg toss kind of place. Maybe it's more of a Midwest thing.
That's it. No, that's
Yeah.
Egg Toss country. That's Egg Toss country.
Egg
That's
toss.
tossing country.
Egg toss is where you have a raw egg. You have a partner. You start off with, you're like right next to them. You kind of pass it. Then you take a step back and then you throw it.
I don't think I've done
Keep
this.
going
actually.
back, and eventually you're so far away, people start failing.
So I've
That
done this
sounds-
with a water balloon, but not an egg.
I know that's kind of nasty, dude. You get the raw egg on you eventually.
Yeah, but in the future, it's all going to be raw egg and armpits. And I've been rewatching The Sopranos recently because I went to my parents' house and I hooked my dad up with a fire stick. And then I go down there and he's watching Sopranos and I'm immediately hooked. I'm like, I just want to start binging it. And I don't know. So is Tim. And we were talking about how they touch each other so much. They're always just like, they're always like hugging, kissing. They do like double kisses. and then they touch each other and they go like, they're always like, nah, like
They got to whack a guy, you know?
it's so weird how much they touch each other.
That's why they like to wax. That's why they want to wax each other, so that it's a little
You know what,
cleaner when they're doing all that.
The other thing I noticed, not only in that show but in other shows, is like, well, a lot of time they touch someone's face, and I don't want anyone to ever like touch my face. They're kind of like,
I know, I hate that
guy
too.
over here,
People's oily fingers, and then they will clog your pores.
Yeah, they touch you with their hand that they've been handling stuff with,
wiping their butt with.
But then when there's like romantic scenes, a lot of times they like touch the woman's face and do like this. Like, does the recipient of that like that? They can't like that. Getting their face like touched, and they don't want that. Would you want that?
The back of the fingers aren't as bad. I don't want a random person doing the back of the finger. The back of the fingers aren't as bad because they're not as oily than the front of the finger, the bottom, whatever. Anyway, yeah, you know what I mean. So
yeah, it's not about that. It's more of about like, if a guy touches a girl's face with the back of his fingers, what's that all about? You know what I mean?
Well,
Is it like he's like looking at her and as like a specimen? And
well, I tell you what it's about.
What is that about?
Well, it's a less invasive way of feeling the softness of the skin.
Oh,
because if you use the other side of your fingers, that's more invasive and the oil. But this is sort of, oh, that feels good on my fingers. It's for his pleasure on his fingers.
It's for his pleasure. It's not for her pleasure.
His pleasure.
Yeah.
I think it's for his pleasure because it's like, ooh, that feels nice and soft. That's what I think the idea is. Not, hey, this feel. I don't think he's doing it for her pleasure or whatever. Even if it's the other way around where she's doing it to him, it's not for this person to get a sort of a knuckle massage. Or maybe it is.
I mean, what if they had for women? What if Trojan made a product that was ribbed for his pleasure, but it was like a face, like
it's a condom for the face.
A face condom for his pleasure.
They don't have to get it dirty,
right? And for her protection. It's like a first date, and he goes to like brush her hair back and touch her cheek, and she's like, "Hold on." And she like undoes this whole she's got this big ass condom thing, and she like puts it over her ears, covers her face.
But it's like collage.
You were saying?
Or is it?
I feel like you're just describing COVID.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
But no, this is one of like $3 million ideas I've heard in this one podcast already.
Because it's a way of not, with condoms, you don't want to, one of the purposes is not spread disease. In this case, it's to not spread acne. You know what I mean? And which acne is kind of like, can look like a, sexually transmitted disease, like something,
All right, Tommy. So let's get back into you here.
I like where that's going.
So what are your days like these days? What's your typical day like?
Yeah, right now I'm in a quarantine pod with my bandmates. So every day we're in the studio.
You guys having fun together?
It's pretty awesome. I think normal times would be a little more like headbutting, but it's like I guess one of the beauties of like COVID is we had so much time off that like we're kind of back together and like sort of just like appreciating like being friends and just like getting to hang out with people we like and play music together. It's like none of the other bullshit, is around right now.
Are you doing anything besides playing music with each other? I mean, are you doing some just fun stuff? I mean, that's fun, I guess, the music part. But I mean, what are you doing when you're not doing music with each other?
Yeah, no, we're like eating dinner, watching movies. Like it's definitely it's been a really good time. We've been in a band for what it's like when it's like you've been collaborators with people for a long time. It can go from like sort of a friendship to like a brotherhood, which is like a little more complicated. And it's like it's really nice that like this whole situation is just like full on 100% just loving hanging out and making music and kind of just like grateful to be like able to do it. We have this studio that it just built like a month before COVID hit, and so this is like the first time we've really gotten to like sink into it. So that's what I'm doing every day. We're like, working like 10 hours a day, and just doing Poundcasts in my spare time.
You should. That'd be kind of cool if you listened to that with your friends. Like you sat around and had it on not on headphones, but just out loud or you could share headphones. But you guys were kind of doing that together.
Yeah.
You know how like in the 20s and 30s, families would sit around the radio and just sort of like just listen to the radio together?
Yeah.
I wonder if any families do that now with like podcasts. They put on like Rogan or something and they get the family around and they just kind of sit there and listen.
That is like a weird element of podcasts to me, is that there's like, it's very old timey when you really think about it. Like it's like we're moving in all these intense multimedia, internet, video and audio and everything happening all at once and in as short of a possible time period, while at the same time podcasts, which are like just like a really long radio show, are also incredibly popular. It's interesting to me because they feel like opposite ends of the attention spectrum, and yet
totally, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I thought that too, how it's weird how in the last 15 years or whatever, how this older format became really popular again. So kind of
it's a reaction to the short attention span stuff. And especially like if you're like an interview with someone on a late night show, they have 3 minutes to give their spiel. Whereas like it's refreshing to just talk and just hear people just have a conversation, I think. I mean, that's what I like to listen to that. But
yeah, for sure.
I just had a question. I forgot what I was going to ask. Have you seen any good movies lately? You got an idea, Brent?
Well, I had an idea for, when we were talking about pinatas and kilts, I had this idea for a pinata. What about a pinata that it's a guy wearing a kilt, and it, you raise it and lower it, and the kilt, like when the pinata gets lowered, the kilt flies up and you kind of see stuff,
I think we got another $1 million idea.
I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. Like, the kilt flies up and then I don't know, you don't know what's underneath there, but that kid's going to maybe hit it,
Or what if instead of a bat, it's like a safety pinata, because like nowadays everything is being nerfed so they don't hurt themselves. So you remove the bat, and the pinata just has a kilt, and they're blinded and they're dizzy. They're all incapacitated, and when the kilt goes up, they just have to feel around and find the candy in there somewhere. You know what I mean?
Wait. So you're saying there's no bat? They use their hands only?
Yeah.
A hands only pinata.
They have to like grope this body and try to find the candy.
I like it. This is interesting. This is pretty innovative. Okay. Wow. So it's a hands-on pinata. It's, it's in a way less violent, but it is more invasive to the pinata in a sense.
But the pinata is, there's nothing.
How about this?
No anatomy is there. It's just candy holes, for the candy hands.
Candy holes?
I'm just picturing how you would sell this thing in a party store where there's it's a pinata of a man, and it just on the package it says like no bat required.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hands, or it's a hands only man pinata. And also the way you start it off is you have to like use the back of your nut, caress it and stuff, and then maybe the pinata, how pinata has the tissue paper and it's kind of like, I don't know, has like it's not the smoothest surface, right? What about a smooth surface pinata, and it's soft? It so that you would want to rub your knuckles on it.
Yeah, this is better for the environment too, because you don't throw away, you don't throw it away. It's reusable. You can use this for this kid's birthday for years.
Use it till he's 18. Then he can get him something else.
Then he can have it for his own kids. It could be like this family heirloom.
It gets passed down.
So, walk me through this. So you're blindfolded, and you find the pinata. You got your hands on it.
It's a full-sized man shaped
What are
silicone.
What are you trying to find?
It's smooth too, by the way.
You're blindfolded and you're dizzy, and you have to feel around for the candy.
What?
Well, no, you feel
are
for
you
the
feeling around for
you
an
have to feel the
opening?
openings.
An orifice.
There's openings in it that you have to feel and work your way into.
Yeah, there's candy holes, and you got to put your candy hands in there to get the candy.
Candy hands.
And there'll be different kind of candy, like Three Musketeers, Snickers.
Well, it's like basically a lot of the chocolate will sort of be in the bottom area of the pinata, and then the candy will be sort of, the fruity candy will be more sort of in the upper part, or like in the front of the pinata. Okay, in the front of the pinata will be like the fruity candies, and then in the back of the pinata, more chocolate stuff.
Oh, wow, this is breathtaking.
I mean, what if people think that's somehow inappropriate? There could be just a disembodied head with a motorcycle helmet on it, and the dizzy blindfolded child has to like lift up the mask of the motorcycle helmet, and in the mouth of the doll that's where the candy is. You got to find that candy.
Well, there's like chocolate.
Somebody is pulling on the head, so they have to. It's still kind of fun bobbing around.
Well, I think in the mouth there would be the chocolate, but it's like kind of smashed up a little bit. The chocolate.
Yeah, I think this is better for kids because there's no bat. That's all I'm saying.
It's like all perverted, but it's
like
better for kids because there's no bat, though.
Since there's no bat, but it's like 10 times like weirder. Somehow that's better.
Safe for kids. No bat required.
It's less violent, but it's much more sexual.
Bat-free pinata, but there's a terrible detail.
Can you remember the last time you had a pinata?
No.
I had a pinata?
Or have either of you ever took a whack at one?
I mean,
for sure.
I've done it, but yeah, it's definitely been a long time.
Oh, of course. I was just going to say, it could be the shapes of the pinata. They don't have to be humanistic. They could be shapes. I mean, the pinata can be just an abstract shape, like, and still have those holes in it, so it could be like a star,
Uh-huh.
So on the sort of middle bottom part of the star is, again, where the fruit would be in the front. And then on the back of the star, the middle bottom part will be the chocolate part.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Then you could rub your knuckles on the sort of top part of the star.
Oh, you know what would be fun? If you can't afford any of that stuff, all you do is you blindfold the child and then say you're like in a park. Then you better yet, some kind of like natural wildlife reserve. And then you hide the candy in the tall brush and in the bushes and the grasses, for maybe a half-mile radius. You make them dizzy, blindfold them, let them crawl around and find the candy. No bat, no pinata, no ropes, no nothing.
Or you could even put the candy in sort of little plastic eggs and hide those around in the thing.
It's what they call daycare. Yeah, well, actually, it's funny you said the plastic egg thing. That is something I did. It took them like 2 weeks to get tired of it, but my niece and nephew this spring, we sort of like taught them the Easter egg ritual, looking for the plastic Easter eggs or whatever. And even after actual Easter day, when there was candy inside, for weeks they would still look for the eggs, even though nothing was inside. So I would like hide them, and it would like. They would spend a half hour looking for them, and nothing would be inside, but they would still get the dopamine rush.
Right. It's kind of still fun to go on the search. Actually, I have a new idea. It's kind of the opposite. We're kind of talking about making stuff for kids. What about Easter for adults? So basically you hide plastic eggs with treats in them, probably chocolate, and you hide them in a real man. So like there's different parts of a real man, and maybe he's heavier set. And so there's just different places you could hide the egg in the man. And an adult, or I guess a kid could do this too, but probably not. It wouldn't be appropriate for a kid to do, but another adult, they are blindfolded and they have to look around the man for the eggs and find the treats that are on this man, in these eggs that are in a man. And they could be in different places in the man. Armpit.
He would have to be pretty large, I'm assuming, in this scenario. No.
Well, where the eggs are buried, it's a larger
Oh,
person.
they could be stuffed inside jackets and pants and things like that. Thongs.
I'm thinking more he's probably wearing a Speedo.
What about this? A reverse pinata for adults. Okay. Now,
But it could be. Sorry.
Instead of a pinata on a string, you're the pinata, and then on the string on the rope is a bat, and it's kind of like tied near the it's not right in the center. It's kind of like near the grip. So when you pull it, it does start to twirl and swing dangerously. And you're the pinata. They spin you around, blindfold you, put you in the danger zone, and everyone else gets to pull the rope, and you just try not to get hit with the bat.
Well, I was going to say this, like instead of a bat, why don't people go open hand? So it's a little less dangerous, So instead of trying to hit the person with the bat, so the person's on the rope getting, going up and down, and maybe they're bare skin, they're just wearing a Speedo, and people when they get to, it's not a hard hit, but they open hand kind of slap the pinata, and they might be able to slap some treats out of you. It's possible.
I mean, these ideas just keep popping up, man.
They're popping off.
They're popping off right now.
But you got another one?
Well,
I just had one, but
popping.
I just
Hold
had
on a second. Tommy has one?
No, I got nothing.
Oh, what if it's just like really for adults, hardcore, and you basically have to slap this pinata, which is a man, and you have to slap like stuff out of him, like fecal matter and so forth. It's like really hardcore. I mean, this is for like real hardcore adults.
Yeah.
I
think you just have to slap like white stuff out of him.
This is like a
like reproductive white
oh
stuff.
My God. I think you're just describing like a murder alibi. No, it's just pinata.
No, it's not. You're not trying to like kill anybody. You're just trying to slap things out of them,
Just trying to drain them of their bodily fluids.
No, they're into it. Look, the person who's being strung they like it, and that's why the white stuff, the white reproductive stuff, is coming out of them. I'm trying to make it sound clean by saying white reproductive stuff.
Somehow that sounds more vulgar.
I just said white reproductive stuff. I didn't say what.
Okay, well, how many options do we have here?
But that's the treat, is the white reproductive stuff.
I gotta say the man doesn't seem like $1 million idea to me, because I don't know what we're selling, other than maybe you can rent a man.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, you find guys who want to do this. They obviously get a cut. Yeah.
But you get a cut too.
They get a cut.
No,
you get a cut too. But you're the one hiring them.
The company gets like 90%. They get like a 10%. The man gets.
So it's like Uber.
The man gets a 10%
like
commission, right? It's like usually the agent gets a 10% commission, but this is like the new business model. The talent gets a 10% commission, and the company gets 90%. For setting the whole thing up.
It's like Spotify.
Exactly. Yeah, they get paid. It's like, so yeah, they're you tell them, hey, look. So what we do is we tie you up, we string you up, and we're gonna bob you up and down, and these other people are gonna try to slap stuff out of you, white stuff mostly, reproductive stuff, and you get a 10% commission for every party.
Very Shark Tank.
What if they had bobbing for apples, but it was like Apple products?
Oh, like bobbing for a MacBook?
Like, like big like iPads, and you have to somehow get it with your mouth,
Right.
That is, I think, a way to get people. That would be a good way post-COVID to get people reacclimated to bobbing for apples, because they're not going to be ready to do it for a while. But if you're like, well, we'll get you bobbing for an iPad,
up the stakes a little bit, and part of you having to bob for these Apple products is you have to compete against people with sores and stuff on their mouth and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just like bobbing for apples, like that back in the day, whenever that was invented, like the apple was your prize. Like an apple is.
Oh, is that what you get? You get an apple. You
I
don't get
think
a
you just
prize for
win the.
getting
I
the
think you
apple.
just win the apple. I don't know. You know,
It's
Yeah.
like, oh
now it's
man,
like people just buy apples and they just throw them out. You know, they'll put it in their they'll put it in their fruit basket for a few days, and they're like, I guess I didn't eat it, and they just throw it out. Back then, it's like it's such a you put your head in a filthy saliva water bucket just to get a chance to eat one. You know,
Yeah.
and if I were to bob apples, why? I mean, I think I would grab one right away. I think because the trick is you don't grab it with your teeth. It's not going to happen. You got to suck at it like a vacuum. You know what I mean? Get a nice tight vacuum seal around that apple.
I like that's an interesting technique. Is the suck technique for the bobbing.
Brent, what would it? How much would you need? Because I know you wouldn't want to do this without steep monetary.
Me?
Yeah, like if me, you, and Tommy, we're gonna bob for apples.
Oh, the three of us together.
How much just to get your head in the bucket?
Probably like $1.5 million,
my
you know, or something like that.
Come on. Post-COVID,
No, I mean-
we're none of us are sick. How about we all took a test? None of us have a common cold or anything.
Nothing. You don't have anything. You guys are like clean as hell.
Completely
You
like
guys
a
are clean.
doctor certified.
Okay, you guys are super clean. And then what do I win? What's
your
Apple products or-
minimum
an
to
apple?
get your head in the bucket?
Oh, what are we bobbing for though?
Apples.
Okay, real apples. Okay, no, that's fine. Real apples. Head in the bucket. Real apples. It's clean. The apples are clean too.
The apples are
bucket's
clean. You gotta get. You have
Everything's
to get one.
Everything is certified clean.
Yeah. Fruit wash beforehand. Yeah. The whole
Yeah.
thing.
Name your price.
$200.
Nah. Keep going. Keep going.
500.
500.
5 what? Oh no.
Am I in the
Need that.
ballpark?
I was thinking 5,000 actually. I was thinking at least 5,000. 5,000 I'm in. Probably. 10,000 I'll tell you what. I'm definitely in. I'll do it. I'll do it for 10,000. 10 grand. Yeah. Offer me 10 grand, I'll do it. I mean,
Okay, 10 grand.
Look, 20,000 I'll definitely do it. Okay, 100. Look, I'll tell you what. 100,000 I'm totally in for sure. I will definitely do it for 100,000. I can say without a doubt I would do it for 100,000. Because you see, to me, it's like, what's the point of this unless it's a significant enough amount of money? You know what I mean? I mean, $500 that's not significant enough. You know, what's the point of even doing it? You know? I mean, I guess if everything is super clean, I guess I would go 500. Fine. I guess. If it's like
500.
unrealistically clean, what? I guess. If there's no way of knowing this for sure, but if it was completely clean.
Like
sure.
we're indoors, we're in a white lab. We're in a lab.
I mean, look.
Stainless steel bucket.
If they like, and you're telling me they bleached your guys' mouths and everything. They bleached everything inside of you. Like they made you drink bleach and they bleached
Our
the
whole
thing.
bodies.
Yeah.
We're dead.
You guys
in
are
fact,
fully
it's
bleached.
the apples are bobbing in bleach.
If everything's bleached out, I'll do it for free. I'll do it for I'll do it for like 500. Yeah, sure. 100. Fine.
This is wild because like this is why I want the vaccine. It's just so I can have the pleasure of going bobbing
Getting
for
bleached.
apples with Brent and Doug.
All
I
right.
thought
Well,
you
what a
the pleasure
treat.
of getting bleached. Fully
That too.
bleached.
Total pleasure.
You know, people are all about bleaching their buttholes, but let's take it to the next level, man. Just bleach it all.
This makes me think about like I had a roommate in college who he would like do this. He would play this game, like so often where we'd just be like, you know, we were in our separate beds in our room or whatever, and he was like, late at night, he'd be like, "All right, Tommy, you're in a room. A man offers you this amount of money
Right.
to like, you know, break a puppy's legs.
Right.
or whatever. Like he would pose all those questions
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
keep upping the price until you would be like, okay, I would do it for $500,000, and it'd always end with like, the man was lying to you, Tommy. He didn't have the money. You broke the dog's legs.
Oh, we'll never do it. You got to get paid up front.
Yeah, you got, or at least get paid half, and then you get paid the second half after the task is completed. You know,
That's not how this guy ever worked. You had to do it first.
well, that's part of the thing is that you say, well, do I get to see the money up front, or do I get the money up front, or do I get it later? When do I get paid? That's like a factor, you know. It's like, okay, look, it's $2 million, but you only get paid afterwards. It's $1 billion. It's $1 billion. It's actually $1 zillion, but you get paid afterwards. And then you say, all right, I'll do it. He's like, he didn't have it.
He didn't have it.
He didn't have it. You should have made sure that you got it before. You know, it's a lesson. That's a lesson. That's a lesson. I think that's a lesson we learned is make sure you get paid up front. That's the lesson on today's podcast. Want to thank so Tommy's going to stick around. We're going to do After Dark with Tommy.
But wait,
right?
before we say goodbye, Tommy, can you plug your stuff real quick? Plug your books and your band and your social medias and things.
Yeah. So my name's Tommy Siegel.
Plug it all like a human stuffed pinata.
Yeah, I'll show you the book once.
Absolutely.
This is the old book, even though it's like not even a year old, probably.
Yeah, it's like 3 months old. So my name's Tommy Siegel. I do comics. I also play in a band called Jukebox the Ghost. And my debut book came out in October called I Hope This Helps. Comics and Cures for 21st Century Panic. And then, my next one's coming out in a month, and it's called Candy Hearts, in time for Valentine's Day.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here. And we're going to keep talking to Tommy in the After Dark segment. If you want to support us and listen to little bonus chats like what we're about to do, just subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Poundcast. The introductory price is only $2 right now still.
I know, it's so easy.
I mean, it's like almost nothing. So
I know, it's like kind of forget about it. I mean, it's 50 cents an episode.
It's like, forget about it. Yeah.
Like, forget about it.
There's no excuse for you not to support us unless you don't like it. Unless you don't like our show, you don't have,
right.
Don't do it.
I mean, or maybe you don't like it enough, But and then like maybe you only like it enough to just listen to it, like just the first hour and then that's it. But anyway, and thank you to Jack Birch, who is one of our interns, and he's El Bircho on his Instagram and stuff, and Chloe Bonilla, who is also another intern, and Jackie Montana, another one, for their help. And
thank you to our sponsor, Louisville Vegan Foods, louisvilleveganfoods.com, and use the code word Poundcast for 20% off. And we'll see you next week on the Poundcast. Talking on the podcast. Doug and Brent talking on the podcast. Doug and Brent talking on the podcast. Doug and Brent, 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 Doug, Brent, Doug talking, Doug, Brent, 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 Doug, Brent, Doug talking, Doug, Brent, 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 Doug, Brent, Doug talking, Doug, Brent. Talk into some